All right, the audience, we are going to start our tonight's seminar in a while. Before we start our seminar, a few things about International Skills Development Center. International Skills Development Center was established to provide the skill-based training. With that taking vision in mind, from time to time we invite different scholars from various parts of the world. Uh, we have organized a few trainings before. Tonight, we're going to focus on theories and concepts of learning. So tonight, the resource person is Dr. Ravichandran. So I would like to say a few words regarding our resource person, our speaker tonight. Dr. Ravi is mainly a pedagogical expert, and he has many years of teaching with a wide spectrum of students. Dr. Ravi has PhD in pedagogical leadership from UPSI, Malaysia. Due to his passion in the field of online teaching and learning, he continued his studies to do his second PhD from Open University in Malaysia in the field of information technology. As an author, research consultant, and instructional designer, Dr. Ravi has several papers presented in international conferences, and he also had given keynote addresses in international conference. Dr. Ravi has also moderated several postgraduate research theses and had been an external examiner moderating PhD students. Dr. Ravi also founded and a designer for key learning or learning management system. His main area of interest in research and smart learning tools, techniques for 21st century in digital learners. Currently, Dr. Ravi is a professor in Binary University, Malaysia. So I would like to invite Dr. Ravi to start your speech. Dr. Ravi, over to you. Can you hear me? Dr. Ravi, your mic is muted. Huh? Please unmute and talk.
Can you hear me, Mr. Sugil?
Yeah, this is clear now. Clear, very clear.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Sugil, for giving an introduction about me, and welcome to all the participants over there. It has been wonderful being with you today to discuss this particular topic on theories and concept of online learning. So as I begin, I just wanted to show you as to what exactly I'm going to discuss for next 20 minutes. So I'll be talking a little bit of introduction and then moving on to essentialism in online teaching and learning, wherein I'm going to encapsulate my views on theories and concepts pertaining to online teaching and learning. Then what is needed of a successful online learning is what will be my focus. And then finally, I'll be converging to the online symbiotic concept, but it will be a 2 days workshop later on. But I'll be just giving you a small hint about that before converging my talk towards the end on online teaching and learning. So to begin with, as our online teachers, you should be knowing that there is two different things between online teaching and also the traditional teaching. What students do in traditional teaching is they go to the school and the teacher also go to the school wherein the real collaboration takes place. Whereas in the case of an online teaching, what happens is now the teacher need not necessarily go to the school. She can teach the students from anywhere, anytime, using an online platform. So if you see in this figure, the most important factor is the online platform, which is going to be a means of a collaborative tool to integrate the teaching aspect between the teachers and the students. So it is important for every single student and also the teacher to see how this online platform needs to be imbibed, both in terms of the theories and concepts pertaining to online teaching and learning. So today's my discussion will be focusing on the most important theories and concepts behind online teaching and learning. As you all know, today's the busiest person is the online teacher who initially had a normal 8 hours of teaching. But today you can see after the online teaching has evolved after the pandemic, they have slightly increased their uh, time of delivery and teaching content development. So the teaching content development takes a lot of time while delivering in online teaching. And at the same time, the normal 8 hours has been extended beyond their expectation, and they feel it as a challenge towards the end of the day when teaching in online teaching, that every one of us are aware of. But what is important today is the essentialism in online teaching. It is not about getting more things done, but it is how to get right things done. So what the teachers in online teaching needs to imbibe is not to deliver whatever they feel like, but it is the appropriate learning content that has to be delivered to the audience in order to achieve the desired learning outcome. So it is about wisest possible investment of time and energy to get the desired result. That's the important factor in online teaching and learning. So it is not about delivering whatever the teacher in the online teaching feels, but it is about what relevant content is required to deliver to the respective students. Just like Salman 2006 said, the pedagogical aspect of a person is the way in which the content is delivered to the audience in order for the audience to understand what is being delivered and to interact and achieve the desired learning outcome as specified by the course objective. Such should be the delivery of learning content when an online teacher interacts in the online platform, be it a learning management system or be it in any other mode of delivery. So moving further, I would try to emphasize these four important strategies as mentioned by Garrison and Anderson. If you see in online teaching, it all depends upon the strategies which is needed to enhance students' participation. The most important thing in online teaching is the strategies that needs to be imbibed by every single teacher so that more student participation comes into the picture in the online teaching. At the same time, the second aspect is the collaboration learning, which is important in the online teaching. The collaboration between peers is important. The collaboration between the peer and the staff, that is the facilitator, is important. And it is also important for the facilitator to give appropriate feedback to the to the participants at a regular interval. And the last but not the least, the most important factor for any online learning is that every single online lecturer should make it a point that self-directed proactive learning happens at the end of the day, which means every single learner should take ownership of the learning and should make it a point that they can take their own content and start understanding what is expected of a online course. So the end result of a successful online teaching is to make every single participant a self-directed learner. That's the ultimate goal in online teaching, which I feel is not that much happening in Indian perspective or be it in the Asian perspective. What is important is to make sure that at the end of the day, the ownership of the learning is taken by the respective students so that everyone becomes self-directed learners. Moving further, Today, the digital world, learning can be from different sources. It is not considered as a product, but it is considered as a process which happens through connections with life and at work, and bringing together the cognitive aspect, the emotional aspect, and the environmental influence for making changes in one's knowledge and skills. So if you want the online learners to make changes in the knowledge and skills, it can happen in three different forms. One is cognitive, another one is emotional, and then the last one is the environmental influence. The environmental influence is also important, meaning that the place of delivery of your learning content, be it your learning management system or be it your Zoom interaction, everything falls under environmental influences, and that should be taken care of by the online teacher effectively and efficiently. Moving further, now I am going to discuss about an important theory behind online teaching and learning. The concept of community of inquiry model is the best model ever used in the delivery of learning content. So if you can see this particular diagram, this diagram has three important domains. One is the social presence, another one is the cognitive presence, and the last one is the teaching presence. So this three interaction plays an important role in online teaching and learning. So what is this social presence is all about? Social presence is all about engagement with participants. How the facilitator engages with the participant, be it a welcome message or be it an online discussion forum, everything forms the social presence. What is the cognitive presence then? It is the interactions and the goal and the direction at which the student are expected to move forward. All these things forms the cognitive presence. It is how the students interact with the content, or how the teacher interact with the content, or interact with the student content using interact with the students using the content. All these things plays an important role in the online teaching. So cognitive presence and social presence are also important in online teaching. And the last one is the teaching presence. Teaching presence is how far the teacher interacts with the learner, how far the teacher provokes and triggers the learners to achieve the desired learning outcome. So all these things forms the entire community of inquiry model as devised by Garrison and Anderson in 2002. This particular figure was taken by me from Garrison, Anderson and Anchor 2010, but the original concept of community of inquiry model started way back in 2002 when Garrison and Anderson formed this particular theory behind social presence, cognitive presence, and the teacher presence. Moving further down into this particular theory, you have to know how are these social presence, cognitive presence, and teacher presence are divided. These are divided into elements and categories. So if you see social presence, the social presence has elements, namely open communication and group cohesion. So there should be a communication between the online learners, and also there should be a communication, open communication between the facilitator and the student. So that forms the element criteria in the social presence. At the same time, the categories which pertains to social presence are risk-free expression. That means the learner should take ownership of the learning and express whatever he or she feels during the course of the online teaching and learning. So that is what exactly is the risk-free expression. And then encouraging collaboration. So the teacher, the facilitator should encourage online collaboration between the peers. It can be a group activity, it can be a quiz, or whatever activity what the teacher decides in order to achieve the desired learning outcome. So all these things forms the part of the social presence. Moving further down, we have what is called as cognitive presence. In the case of a cognitive presence, under elements, we have exploration, integration, and resolution. So this is where how the learning content is being integrated into the system. If it is a learning management system, how the teacher wants to play the learning content, that forms the cognitive presence. At the same time, in the category, we have the triggering agent, information exchange, connecting ideas, applying new ideas. So, for example, if the teacher has a discussion forum, how the teacher expects to trigger the participants for meaningful discussion within the discussion forum is one important factor in cognitive presence. So the teacher may have to think about a query or a question to be posted to the audience so that it triggers positive collaboration among the participants. So such should be the importance of cognitive presence within the community of inquiry model. The last one is the teaching presence, wherein you see here the discussion of topics, building understanding, direct or indirect instruction, all forms under the elements. Similarly, the categories of teaching presence are sharing personal meanings and focusing discussion. So if you see, the teaching presence is very, very important. The teaching facilitator in online teaching needs to carry on the entire course with hand in hand with the participant by properly giving appropriate feedback and also properly triggering the collaboration among the participants. This is what we call it as a teaching presence. This teaching presence right from the starting, wherein the teacher will post a welcoming message or post a question to trigger the discussion forum. Everything forms the part of the teaching presence, which is very much essential in online teaching and learning. So let me show you a very, very interesting presentation. Sorry. The community of inquiry model. You can clearly see how this works using this simulation. Please watch carefully. This is the integration of my entire speech earlier, which I discussed. So if you see, the cognitive presence is nothing but students and facilitators interacting with the learning content. So that involves critical thinking, constructing meaning based on Dewey's practical inquiry model. So teaching presence is very, very important because that's where the teacher places the activities, facilitates the entire course with meaningful assignments, tasks for the students. Okay, so what you saw is a simulation of the community of inquiry model, where I did explain about the social presence, cognitive presence, and the teaching presence, which forms the entire important domains of successfully providing an online learning environment and learning for the online digital learners. Now, these concepts and theories, whatever I discussed, should be in every single mind of an online teacher, even before he stepped into an online teaching platform. So this is before, when a teacher becomes an online teacher, he has to imbibe these theories. But when he has taken up the online course, he has to imbibe the Salman's 5-stage model, which I'm going to show you right now. So this is the 5 stages of Salman's 5-stage model, wherein you have access and motivation, online socialization, information exchange, knowledge construction and development. So these are step-by-step stages when online facilitator start delivering the online teaching. Earlier, I started teaching you a theory which everyone should know before you ground the foot into online teaching. Whereas here, after grounding your foot into online platform, what you are supposed to imbibe is this quality of access and motivation, first stage, online socialization, second stage, information exchange, third stage, knowledge construction, fourth stage, and the development, which is the 5th stage. So this should be followed in sequence during your course facilitation when you are teaching them. This is called Salman's 5-stage model. The online socialization, I'll show you what exactly. So this will be like an online socialization where you can see this is my week 1 plan for the students who are taking my course History and Purpose of Classroom Management, and I make a weekly announcement. I share the learning resource. I have an online discussion for the peer interaction. I have an assignment submission area for the students to submit the assignments. Then there is a assignment feedback area and the gradebook where the student can check their feedback and also start checking the grades what they have got from the student from the facilitator. So it becomes an online socialization platform for the learners in online teaching. So such should you devise your plan when you are trying to facilitate your online teaching. This is an example from the Salman's 5-stage model. The second stage model, second stage in the model expects you to have online socialization is exactly what I have shown you with an example here. So this is again an arrow model in blended learning. So the online facilitator, what he needs is a framework which can assist him or her in applying content and strategies learned in the professional, which are learned in their professional development to their own instructional practices. So what is important is the professional development for the online teachers at the regular intervals. Next one is, as the online instructor and the students move along the framework, sorry, they have a habit of mind is developed as they approach situation in similar ways. So they develop a more general heuristic over time. What is important is when they start practicing this type of culture, the theory and the Salman's 5-day model within the online teaching, they have a standard habit of mindset that this is what they are supposed to teach at every single stage of online teaching. So that's very, very important. That culture should be important in online teaching. So this habit eventually makes the learner to become self-directed learners over a period of time and take ownership of the learning. So this is very, very important, my dear friends, in online teaching and learning. So facilitating and engaging online courses requires educators to develop strategies. As I did mention earlier, the 4-stage strategies enhance the students' participation, needs collaboration, and foster educators' feedback. Very important in online teaching is to provide a series of feedbacks which are relevant to the appropriate learning task assigned by the respective facilitator during the course facilitation. And what needs to be achieved at the end of the day is for the learners to become ownership of the learning and become self-directed learners. That is exactly what is needed of every single online teaching at the end of the day. So what is needed in online teaching is the faculty development for the e-learning to enhance the interaction among the online learners. Not only students need to be aware of the time commitments and are comfortable with technology, but faculty needs to be educated regarding the pedagogical methods appropriate for online courses. That is exactly what I've been sharing with you now on the theories and concept of online teaching. Be it community of inquiry model or be it Salman stage model, or the important theories and concept which every single online teacher needs to imbibe before delivering the content to the online learners. Faculty members and programs that utilize e-learning needs to be cognizant that the educator's online presence is essential to fully disseminate the course content. So they should understand this one and be trained to fully disseminate the course content effectively, where to put the assignment, where to place the content, where to trigger the audience, be it a quiz or be it an online discussion, needs to be decided by the facilitator appropriately based on these theories and concepts. Let me show you how I have done in my learning management. This is an example where I'm showing you the learning management system portal. You can see here. I have given them assignment. You can see discussion assignment, and you can see the student has posted her entire answer for the assignment. Then I am replying to her assignment, and she reads I am giving her example, everything, and based on my reply, the student thanks me and she says that it was very useful. So this type of interaction should take place in the online discussion. This is what is important in online teaching and learning. How you insert the activity, how you trigger the activity and make the participant participate in the online discussion is important. So to conclude this session, I have 4 important things, my dear friends. Today, the pedagogical community who are all involved in online teaching needs a helping hand. Various stakeholders who are involved in providing that to them adequately needs appropriate resources and the tools to virtually conduct the classes. So remember, my dear friends, the stakeholders involved in delivering of online teaching should provide the online facilitators with appropriate tools and technologies which are relevant for them to carry on their online teaching. So this one, the stakeholders needs to remember. The second important point is the ministry and the policy makers needs to know what exactly need to be given to the online teachers, be it the theories or be it the techniques or be it the tools, whatever they require to deliver the learning content should be clearly given to the online teaching community by the various stakeholders who are involving themselves in creating the policies or the techniques in the online teaching and learning field. So my second point is for the policymakers. My first policy is for the pedagogical community who are involved in online teaching. Moving further, the third point which I would like to stress is the precise benefit and value of adopting an online teaching practice is not something that can be determined or guaranteed for someone in advance to them seeking to make it a part of the way they do in the work. It is not something that is to be delivered. It is not something the teacher thinks a normal duty for her or him to deliver the content. It is a different thing. It is entirely a different strategy, a pedagogical approach to deliver the content. It is not at all a replacement to the face-to-face technology which the traditional teachers do. It is a different strategy, a pedagogical approach altogether, which every single teacher needs to know. For instance, there may be many ways of online teaching for them to adopt to effectively deliver the content, be it the blended learning or be it a flipped classroom learning. It is up to the teacher to decide what is important for the learners in order to take the content and to understand them and to deliver the desired learning outcome effectively. So this is very, very important. This is the third point which I would like to stress. The last point which I would like to stress before I end is what works best but be discovered through a process of critical appraisal. So what is important for the online teachers is not to take whatever the management decides or whatever they feel that others are using. It is the outcome of a critical appraisal of its efficiency in relation to what needs to be achieved. So the online facilitator needs to do a critical appraisal of what is desired by the audience, that is the participants, that is the learners, and what is feasible at his end in a critical appraisal manner. So it has to be a uniform decision made in order to decide what is important for the online learners to take the entire online course effectively. So that should be critically appraised by the online facilitator before jumping into a conclusion where to deliver, what to deliver in the online platform. This is why learning to use online teaching through tackling meaningful challenges is so important educationally. I honestly hope that the various stakeholders involved in this online teaching and learning will take all these points more seriously today. So this is the reference for today presentation. Whatever I have discussed so far has been verified, referred in the following articles. So this is the end of my session for today. I hope you have taken some important points from my discussion, and if I am open to your questions for next few minutes. So please go ahead with your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. In fact, it was very insightful session. This is a digital era now. So teachers and students all are interact online. Right. There is the audiences. If you have any question, kindly direct to our chat box, and then I will direct to our speaker. By this time, we receive a question, Dr. Ravi, that someone is asking how effective online learning kids below 5.
Mr. Sugel, I'm not clear. Can you repeat the question, please?
The question is how effective the online learning for the kids, those who are below 5.
Oh, see, basically, there is no such findings that emphasize that a course is going to be very effective in online teaching, whether the course is very effective in traditional teaching. It's a long debate. But when you have a minimum of 5 students, you can seek a flipped classroom approach. You can use the blended learning model, wherein you can post what is expected out of the learners for the next day. So when you have a minimum of 5, the ideal model that will suit you will be a blended learning model. You can go and search in the internet for flipped classroom theories and concepts. In fact, I have also done a vast research on flipped classroom, which I can also share with you if you want. So basically, I would suggest for a low number of candidates, flipped classroom would be ideal.
Right. For audiences, ISDC is going to arrange a workshop for today's workshop that will be done by our guest of speaker, Dr. Ravi. We will circulate a registration form now. Those who are interested can register. So after the registration process is complete, we'll announce the workshop date. This will be 2 working days. Right. Dr. Ravi's next question is, what tools of online learning? I mean, asking what are the main tools for online learning?
Okay, if you are talking about universities, then the ideal platform would be a learning management system. I would not recommend or name any particular learning management system because it depends upon the size of the university or the colleges. That depends largely on what type of learning management they can select. But the ideal online delivery should be a proper learning management system. If there are, say, more than 10,000 students in a university, then probably they can go for a Moodle's platform because it's an open source and very easy to use. Suppose they wanted a paid learning management system, there are plenty in the market which I don't want to recommend, but there are plenty. But there are certain students and teachers requesting for personalized learning management system that needs a huge investment from the management. So it all depends upon the management decision. That's the reason why I made my 4 points, wherein I said the policymakers and the decision makers needs to know where and how much they can invest in delivering of these tools to the online facilitators. So my recommendation in online teaching would be a decent learning management system similar to Moodles.
Right, thank you, Doctor. The next question is from Sanjay Barua. He asking, what is the easy technique to take e-exam, I mean online learning?
E-exam.
Right.
What is the easy way?
Yeah, yeah.
So e-exam it differs from universities to universities. So what exactly he means by e-exam, I'm not so sure. But e-exams today are different. For example, I am a facilitator and advisor for University of the People. In University of the People, online exams are artificial intelligence based system wherein the timer is controlled, the places, the IP address, everything is controlled by the system. So there is very less chance for the participant to make any any uh, foul play or any malpractice. So today's technology is very high as far as the e-exams are concerned. So there is no question of this is easy or that is easy. I think the online learner should really work hard to read the learning resources and excel in the exam which they participate.
Yeah, I can add to that. There are many free tools nowadays for online e-exam. It really depends from the institution to institution, university to university, which one they would like to adopt. There are many free versions as well. And of course, you can customize a system to have online exams. Right, Doctor. The next question is, does online learning changes the mindset of the learner?
Uh, Definitely, the online teaching and learning changes the mindset of the learners as well as the teachers. If you see my presentation, I said at the end of the day, the goal of the online facilitator is to make the online learners self-independent and take ownership of the learning. They should all end up being self-directed learners. What is important in the online teaching and learning is the facilitator to provide just the instructions, proper feedback, proper guidance, and the rest is taken care of by the learners themselves. They will use the content, they will use the resources, and they will try to complete their assignments and the activities delivered by the facilitator. That's how they have to take the ownership of the online course. They cannot rely 100% on the online facilitator in online teaching and learning. They have to be independent, and that is only possible with a trust. The online trust is very much important for any learners involved in online teaching and learning.
All right, dear audiences, bear with this mind that ISDC is going to organize a workshop for 2 days with a fees of $35. We have already distributed the registration form in our chat box, so you can register. So the tools and the techniques and how to make the online classes more effective will be our key focus in the workshop. So we will announce the date of the workshop as soon as the registration process is closed. I think Dr. Ravi, thank you very much. There are no questions at the moment. Thank you very much for your time with ISDC.
Thank you very much, Sugail. It was wonderful being with you guys today. There was at least 32 participants, and leaving you and me, there are about 30 participants here. It's wonderful being with you, and I'm hoping to meet you again in the workshop for 2 days, wherein you will try to know more about the practicality of our learning management system. The theories, now whatever I have shown, you'll be taking it practically in the workshop. So hoping to meet you guys again. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Sugail.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Dear audiences, kindly leave us your full name and email address for the issuance of certificate of attendance. We will issue all participants a certificate of attendance. Kindly leave us your full name and email address. Please bear in mind your full name and email address. So don't leave only the name or only email address, then we don't know who to send the certificate. Full name and email address. We will end our session in 5 minutes time. So those who haven't sent the full name and email address can send us. And at the same time, our registration form for the workshop is also in our chat box. You can complete that.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
I have mistakenly, sir. I have mistakenly written my name, Tirthraj Chhetri. Sir, I have written my it's wrong spelling, sir. Chhetri. So I have recorded it.
You can send the correct one now. No problem.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Remember registration form টা একটু আরেকবার দেন someone is asking.
Tirthraj CHETRI Chhetri. So email email. Sir.
Yes.
So when will be this workshop will happen, sir?
In 2 weeks time we will announce the date. Kindly fill up the form. The link is there.
Okay, sir. Mr. Sir, 798.